Hello, everybody. This is Hondo Carpenter, your Las Vegas Raiders beat writer on SI, and the host of the Las Vegas Raiders Insider Podcast, joined, as you can imagine, once again by my beautiful bride, because we're going to be answering some of your questions today, and we always have her to come on and answer them. Now, I just laugh because on screen it looks like your lipstick is orange, and it's bright fire engine red like your shirt, but I like you in orange too. Usually it's in Hunter's orange when I see it, not in lipstick orange. But here we go, Shannon. Let's go. You got some questions for us. Let's get fired up and get going.
All right, our first one. Hondo, one of the things I enjoy the most of your work is your power rankings. It seems you did one last year before training camp. Will you do the same this year? Pete G and Santa Fe.
I did do a power ranking last year. I do before this season and before the training camp. Yes. And I am anticipating having that out relatively soon. I would think between now and the first week of June. I've already started working on it. So, yeah, that would be coming. And let me just also say, if you have a question that you would like answered, you can send us an email at Spartan Nation Mail, MAIL at yahoo.com. Spartan Nation Mail, MAIL at yahoo.com. Put in the subject line Raiders Q&A, and you never know, it may make it into the broadcast. Remember this one. This is important because we don't read them. They get read before they get sent to us. So make sure that you keep them short.
Mhm.
If you send a long one, it just gets deleted. We get voluminous amounts of email, massive amounts of email. And so we literally can't read them all. And if they're long, it just gets deleted. And remember, one email per email address per 7-day period. If you send more, it just gets sent to spam. And I don't want you to get sent to spam. So keep them short. Make sure you put your name, and because it's important, you got to put your name on it. Even if we disagree with you, put your name on it. All right. Sorry about that, Shannon. Go ahead.
All right. My question is about the forgotten man on the O line, Thayer Munford. Well, I don't think anyone is saying he
Mhm.
is a plus starter. His swing tackle ability is certainly valuable. And yet, I don't recall I've heard anyone from you or anyone bring up his name since the new uh, regime has came in, leading me to believe something may not fit Chip's scheme. Where does Thayer fit into this O line equation? If he doesn't, surely a young, versatile tackle who has starting experience has some trade value that
Mhm.
SpyTech can take advantage of. Thanks, Hondo. Your Papacito's take is 100% accurate, by the way, from Mike W. in Texas.
Hi, Mike W. from Texas. So first of all, I actually alluded to his email on one of our, in the mornings, I do a very short 3 to 5 minute podcast update. It's only available on Spotify and Apple. It's called Riding with Hondo and Dexter. Although you've been with me a lot lately, we should change it to Riding with the Carpenters. We usually shoot it like riding in the car or
Mm-hmm.
when we're together early in the morning. Um, I actually alluded to it, but I think that if the Raiders keep 3 offensive tackles on their 53-man roster, which is what they did last year, I think Thayer may be the odd guy looking out, and he does have trade value for sure. But if they keep less interior guys, maybe they keep 4 tackles. I think that's an option too. So, but I tell you, I DJ is their starting right now if the season started today. Colton's their starting left, and Charles Grant is going to make the 53 man. So if they keep 4 tackles, I think Thayer has a chance. If he does not, then I think if they don't keep 4, I think he's the odd man out as of today. Not rooting against Thayer, I like him a
Mm-hmm.
lot. We always joke because he's a Buckeye that how do you not like somebody who his enemy, Michigan, is your enemy? What did Sun Tzu say? The enemy of my enemy is my friend. So I'm kidding there. He's not an enemy at all, but I really like Thayer a lot. But so it's not rooting against him. It's just the reality of this is a business and those are numbers. Okay.
All right, Auntie and Uncle Hondo team. Thank you always. Last summer, Allegiant Stadium opened the doors for a couple of training camp sessions. It was a full, quote unquote, game day mobilization of stadium staff and vendors. It was a really cool treat for fans.
Mhm.
Whose idea was this? My guess is AP. Can you expect the fans, or can the fans expect for this to happen again? Clayton, you.
Clayton, good question. I don't know that you can expect it to happen again this year, although I'm not saying it's not. We don't know. But training camp is going to be in Vegas, so it's going to be
Mhm.
more accessible to fans. I love that, by the way. I loved it, as you know, in Costa Mesa because the weather was it was perfect. And the weather in Vegas is brutally hot, brutally hot. Uh, so I think, um, but it doesn't mean they won't. So I don't have any comment, but I'm going to find out next week, and I'll if I can see if I can get some information on it next week for you. Um, that being said, I don't know. I know that AP was part of it, but I really think the decision to do it was collective by the franchise. I know
Mm.
AP was on board, but I don't know who to give the credit to. But I know everybody embraced it. I didn't hear one person negative about it. So I know that AP was on board. I don't know whose idea it was, so I can't credit anybody. But I thought it was a great idea. And you know what? I would love to see the Raiders do one this year. And I think it's a great environment for people that maybe can't afford the tickets to go to Allegiant
Mhm.
Stadium, to get to go to a game. I think that's a cool idea, just to get there and experience it. So there you go.
All right.
And was he the gentleman that loved Papacitos?
No, that was the one before that.
Okay.
All right, Hondo. What do you think about the Rust Edge controversy, stating that the Raiders have the least in the whole NFL this coming season? Kenny Matt.
Kenny, good question. I'm not mocking you or minimizing you, but if there's one thing I have learned over my years of a journalist, people will find something to complain about. And it's not just sports. There are people who are so negative, they are going to complain if they won the lottery because they have to pay the taxes. There's always an Eeyore. Remember from Winnie the Pooh? So I think it's much ado about nothing. I think the Raiders got a really good schedule. It's significantly better. I don't think it's always been bad in my years of covering this team, but I think it's the best schedule since I've covered the Raiders. And I just think people are always going to look for a reason to say I was slighted, I was
Mm,
wronged. Just pull up your straps, pick it up, Buttercup, and you got a great schedule. And I think you just live with it.
there you go.
Do you disagree with that?
No,
Okay. Toughen up, Buttercup.
put your big girl panties on. All right.
Did you just say put your big girl panties on? Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
Hondo, can you describe how you expect the Raiders offense to be different this season, KDC?
Katie, that's a great question. And absolutely I can. It's going to be um it's going to be different, obviously, schematically, but here's where I think the biggest difference is going to be. Last year, it was total confusion. Now, after Getsy got canned, it wasn't. So I'm going to address Getsy because that's how they went into the season as their plan, because it was not that way after Getsy. But it was so hodgepodge, it literally made no sense. I've shared with you before. I wrote an article, and you're going to remember this. Shannon and I, it was after a game, and we were driving, and I wasn't really answering the phone. I had done a lot of interviews. We were tired. You weren't. I was, and you'd been cheering. I don't know if you're tired or not. And I'm just like, I don't want to talk football. Let's just talk about whatever. But we got a call, and you showed me the phone. You're like, you should probably take this one. It was a offensive coordinator, and he was very vocal. What are they doing? And I had gotten so much feedback from around the NFL that the Raiders literally are acting like they have no idea what they want to do, how they want to do it. They talk all this bravado. They wanted to be a running team, and it was just bad. So I would tell you this. Shannon and I are of the belief everything rises and falls on leadership.
Mhm,
Everything,
for sure.
everything from a football franchise to a hospital to a business to a family to a church.
Mhm.
Every single thing in the world operates off of leadership. And I think this year, They have tremendous leadership. So I think you're going to see a commitment to what they want to do. And when it's difficult, they're going to find ways to make it work, but they're not going to be discombobulated.
Makes sense.
Where there's no vision, people die, they perish.
Mhm.
Now, obviously, people aren't going to die in a football field if you don't run, but the organization will fail. And so, where there's no vision, people or vision dies. It was clearly evident last year. And I think the biggest thing you're going to see, Katie, it was Katie, right?
Yes.
The biggest thing you're going to see, Katie, is you're going to see the Raiders have a vision. They're sticking to the vision. And they have the people who understand how to make adjustments
Mhm. That's a big one.
to the vision. I got asked on a radio show last night, or maybe I don't. Time's running together now. The other day, um, what do I think has been the biggest um reason over my 6 years covering the Raiders that they failed? I thought that was a great question. And the host said to me, there's been different regimes, there's been different coaches, there's been different players, but the same result.
Mhm.
What do you think it is? And I said, the entire time I have covered the Raiders, they have struggled at making adjustments. Great football teams make adjustments. So let me give you an example. You go into a game and you're committed. We want to run the ball 60% of the time. Okay. So you get into the game and the other team says, we're not going to let the Raiders run the ball. So they put 10 men in the box or 9 men, whatever. And if you are committed to being a running team, then either A, you make adjustments, maybe you attack the outside, maybe you do some things to create running opportunities, or you adjust, maybe go to the play action. So you bring the safeties in. Y'all know how much I love the play action, and then throw the ball over their heads so they can't attack the box. I have been stunned because it was not this way, obviously, growing up for many, many years. But I have been, because the Raiders were such a good offensive team, they were a juggernaut. I have been shocked over the last 6 years how horrible the Raiders' offense has been at making adjustments. And again, that goes back leadership.
Mhm.
I everyone knows I love John Gruden. I love Gru, love the guy, but man, he was so stubborn. He had a lot of Josh McDaniels in him, different philosophies, but that this is what we're going to do. Well, if it doesn't work, you have to adjust. And you're going to see Chip Kelly as an adjuster, Pete Carroll as an adjuster. We already know Patrick Graham is. So I think that leadership, and that's going to be the biggest impact on the offense. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Mhm. Hondo, is it fair to say that the Raiders' new direction is as much about mental as physical? Ed W.
Yeah, I just literally alluded to that. And it is mental. It is the mental acumen and the mental commitment to this is who we are. I always laugh. I think you'll appreciate this, but the listeners maybe, people will say to me, I don't want your wife. I want all football. Well, you're reading football questions,
Mhm.
but I can't change who I am. I have no desire.
Mhm.
Why would you dye a cheap copy when you can be an original? And I'm not going to change who I am. If people don't like how I deliver something, that's okay. There's lots of great places to get information.
Mhm.
And you and I are friends with people I compete with
Mhm.
who are great journalists. And so um but if I have to change who I am to get viewers, it's not worth it.
Mhm.
We were talking to a young couple one time. They weren't married and they had asked us for some advice on marriage. And I didn't get married to change Shannon. I fell in love with who you were. And are are there things that Shannon does? Well, I'll give you an example. She loves doing laundry. And I am convinced that if she doesn't have laundry to do, she will go take clean clothes and wash them. Okay. I don't get it. I don't understand it. If Shannon has one pair of socks and the dirty clothes. She can't go to bed without putting them in the washer. I now listen, I love that because I don't like dirty. I don't like filthy. I like everything clean. But okay, so would I be that way? No.
I
But
know something else you'd change.
what?
The amount of coffee I drink because I always have coffee
She does.
breath.
She is her blood type is regular coffee. Anyways, but what I would say to you is that so if well, no, I don't have any desire to change who I am.
Mhm.
I've had people say, if you ever mention God again, I'm not watching. Okay.
Exactly.
And I don't blame them. I don't think they're bad people. I'm not going to try to change who I am. And so when you talk about the mental change on the team, they know who they are now.
Mhm.
I love that scene from the movie The Lion King when Mufasa, the cub, looks into the water and he sees his father's reflection saying, Mufasa, remember who you are. I have thought, quite frankly, for the entire time I've covered the Raiders, somebody needs to come into this organization and remind them who they are.
Mhm.
I've said that to the fans. You're the freaking Raider Nation. This is one of the most iconic. I think it's a top three professional sports franchise in the world. I think Manchester United, the soccer team, even though I'm not a soccer guy, they're an iconic brand. Um, I think the Raiders, iconic brand, and probably the Lakers
Mm.
in basketball. I mean, those are some of the iconic sports franchises. And and I think now the hiring of Pete Carroll is a look in the water and it's a Mufasa moment. Do I think Pete Carroll is going to be like Al Davis? No, but he doesn't need to be.
Mhm.
He's an iconic future Hall of Famer. He needs to be Pete Carroll. It's the winning that marked Al Davis.
Right.
Does that make sense?
It makes complete sense. And
Yeah.
that's what made me become a Raiders fan was the entire Raider Nation. The
They
way that
won
they
you. I
Mhm.
got to tell you guys, I Raider Nation wooed her
Yeah,
and
because I
Dexter.
wasn't even really a football. I mean, I enjoy football, but wasn't this diehard. And I love Raider Nation. You guys are amazing. And there's a lot of you, like you said, that complain. You always find something to complain about, like
It's
an
not a
earlier
lot though.
question. But it's like you got to have constant optimism. Like I'm always optimistic that they're going to win, even if they're set not to. It's like why? Because guess what? Raider Nation's always going to be there.
Okay, let me
We're
just.
always going to still be
I'm
up
going to
and play,
share.
win or lose.
I'm going to share a hilarious story. So last year when I had predicted, so anytime my predictions come out, down the stairs comes Shannon. She prints my article. Why'd you pick us to lose here? Why'd you pick us to lose here? You really think we're going to lose to the Chiefs? And I mean,
Because I'm always optimistic every game that we're going to win. But you know what?
we're going to go 17-0. We got Pete Carroll, Ashton. What do you mean Ashton Genty's not going to run for 200 yards a game? You are such a quintessential Raider fan now. It's hilarious. But I think that's going to be the biggest adjustment. All right, let's go.
Yeah, for sure. I love this. This is so much fun. All right, Hondo, you were a big supporter of Jacorian Bennett last offseason.
Huge.
Who is your secret guy this year? Clint C.
Oh, I am so excited about this question.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I got a young pup that I am really think has a shot to become a dog,
Mm.
and that is Amari Gainer, her Bacon's friend.
Mm.
Amari Gainer, who is the linebacker coming into his second year. This guy, he's just got some it. Now, I want to, anytime you make the statement I'm about to make, people are going to run with it
Mm-hmm.
and say something I'm not saying. So, for example, do you remember me during the draft process? I made the joke, not the joke, I made the comment. Ashton Genty does some things that Barry Sanders did, but he's not Barry. He just did something. Now, there's only one Barry who I think is the greatest running back of all time, followed by Jim Brown. I Ashton Genty does 2, maybe 3 things like Barry. He's not Barry, but like Barry. So, okay, I'm going to compare Amari Gaynor to somebody who we know and admire, great football player, better guy. But these people know. Does he do everything like him? No, but he does some things like him. And I think he's got a shot to really be a star. And that's Carl Banks. Carl Banks, you may remember from the New York G-Men, also a Spartan. Go Green.
Go away.
And I think he's got a lot of Carl Banks in him. Now, he wasn't Carl Banks coming out of college where Carl was, but he's got some things. And I think this kid has an opportunity to be special. Now, it's all on him. It is all on him. But I really like Amari Gaynor, and I I know that that Patrick Graham was intrigued by him. I'm intrigued by him, and I think that young man has a shot to be special.
Mhm.
All right.
Warning.
Warning what?
Not football.
Oh, not football question. Let's go. So
right.
remember, if you only want football, see everybody. God bless you. If you like the ones that are not just football, let's go.
Hondo and Shannon, I love the podcasts and the two of you. I have a weird question, but a fun one. My wife is my best friend, and I adore her like Hondo does you, Aunt Shannon.
Oh, that's true.
We are preparing to celebrate our first anniversary, and we don't have a lot of money, but we will. We are both in college, and as Raider fans, we both watch the podcast together, but she loves it even more now that Shannon is on. Any inexpensive ideas on a gift? It won't always be inexpensive, but thought you might have some advice. Mike P. from California.
So, Mike, let me give you a couple of things of advice. First of all, it's smart of you not to go in debt to get a present. Smart. Number one. Number two, God bless you, brother. I mean, marrying your best friend. I can totally tell you it makes life wonderful. This lady right here makes my life wonderful. She is just anything good in my life, the credit goes to her and the Lord, and anything bad's all my fault. But she makes life wonderful for me. So good job there. I'm going to give you one early as a married man, and I think you like this gift. Coupon book. Just write a coupon book. Give her 10 coupons. This is good for one free household chore at any time. So that means she can come to you and she can hand you this coupon and say, vacuum the house, do the dishes. Not that you shouldn't be doing stuff to help, but it was just one get out of jail card free. So that there can be,
Just not the laundry.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Let her do the laundry, unless you are the laundry guy. I'm not taking that away.
Shannon is saying that because so let me real quick. Shannon had these white pair of breeches that I loved. They were beautiful breeches.
I loved them too.
They were just the cutest breeches in the world. So I just,
And had past tense.
okay. So I decided one day I'm going to help her because she's a nurse. She's working hard. I'm working hard. And I decided to do the laundry. So we're getting ready to go out on date night that week. And I said, hey, will you wear those one white breeches you have? She goes, and she just gave me this look. She goes, I don't have any white breeches. I said, yes, you do. You know what ones I'm talking about. She says, no, I don't have any white breeches. I'm like, what are you talking about? And she said, well, I'll wear them. So she comes down the steps and they were pink. Now, I love pink, so I thought they looked fine. But evidently, I had done something and turned them pink, in which my wife looked at me and said, honey, I love you. You do so much stuff great. Please don't ever, for any reason, touch the laundry again. Did I tell this story accurately?
Yeah, they weren't completely pink though. They were patched.
Huh?
It was patchy. Kind of looked like a cow.
I don't think it did.
Yes, it did. If I
So-
had them, I would show you. but I
Okay.
didn't keep them.
So, anyways, coupon book. So you can put on there.
Back rubs.
You pick the movie. Ooh, back rubs.
With no strings attached.
No strings attached, back ribs. Crud. All right. But I would do, you pick the movie, one night on the couch, one free conversation, no phones allowed, whatever. Come get a coupon book. Those are fun. And I'm going to say this to you, and Shannon and I are in a different place. And there have been times in our life when we were looking for inexpensive. And now we're at a place where that's not the case. We don't look at price tags as much as we have in the past. Thank God. That's only to God, not to us. And expensive doesn't always make.
To get perfect. Yeah.
I mean, we love to, we've been all around the world literally together. And I can tell you this, sitting on our front porch swing, I don't know that there's a better view or so just remember, expensive gifts are great and there's a lot of them and we certainly enjoy them. So we're not sitting here trying to pretend like, oh, we've never, no. But man, those inexpensive ones can be super valuable, can't they? Also, we want to give a big shout out to our son, Dexter Ernest Wayne Carpenter. Dexter is almost 100% potty trained. Nighttime, he's got to wear a diaper now. But other than that, our little man is growing up. We're proud of you, Dexter Ernest Wayne Carpenter. And he calls us Daddy Ernest Wayne and Mommy Ernest Wayne. So Dexter Ernest Wayne Carpenter, Mommy and Daddy Ernest Wayne love you, and we're proud of you for being potty trained, son. So thanks, everybody. We'll see you again tomorrow. Now, I want to just also address one other thing. I got several emails asking me about Cam Miller. And so we didn't answer those because tomorrow in position breakdowns, we're going to be talking about quarterback. And I got a lot to say about Cam, a lot. So please keep your eyes out for that. Shannon, you want to say anything to anybody?
Goodbye, Raider Nation.
Goodbye, Raider Nation. Appreciate y'all. And God bless you.
Have a good one.
Talk to you soon.